What's good, everybody? Welcome to Whole Views. My name is Corey. Today we're talking about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This is the most unique version of Spider-Man that we've ever gotten. There's been so many different animated and live action versions of Spider-Man, and this one seems to have taken the most liberties with changing characters. Honestly, I'm actually really welcoming of all those changes. It made it feel like a more authentic version of New York City. Dr. Connors is a black woman here, where we've normally seen him as a white male, and that same story can be told with a gender and race swap. The Osborns are black here, and that's a little bit different because they've always been white. But the one thing that is consistent and I'm truly happy about is that they have the waves. Lonnie is black, and in the beginning, I didn't know who Lonnie was. And after we got the reveal of the Tombstone name, it reminded me that I don't really know the comic book origins of the Tombstone character. I just know who he is and what he represents. Another key change is that the Rhino character is going to be played by either two characters simultaneously or two characters interchangeably, one being a female, the other one being a male. Not a big deal, but I do like the way that character is represented on screen, regardless of which way they decide to go. In season 1, there's no Mary Jane and no Gwen Stacy, but there is Gwen Stacy coming to season 2, as this already been announced. But for our female leads, we end up with Pearl and Nico, who are black and Asian respectively. I like everything about this show, and one of the things that I like with the Nico and Pearl characters specifically is that there's a lot of relationship drama that has potential to bubble into seasons that come down the line. You could have a pairing of Peter and Nico, you could have a pairing of Peter and Pearl. We've already seen the pairing of Lonnie and Pearl, but that's going to add another dimension to the drama between Tombstone and Spider-Man that is inevitable down the line. In one of the episodes, we got a quick glimpse of what could be something between Harry and Nico, and that also could play a role in some drama to come down the line. Talking about Harry and that last name of Osborn, I want to talk about Norman. I really enjoyed the dynamic between Norman Osborn and Peter. I really like the fact that Norman has a lot going on outside of Peter's knowledge, and Peter is just so young and gullible and trusting of Norman Osborn. I like that dynamic. I also really enjoy the fact that Norman is not at all the role model that we normally get to see mold a young Peter. It was set up so perfectly for Norman to deliver the great power comes great responsibility line, but it goes a different way and is in line with his character, and it also foreshadows the character that will develop in the future. Continuing on with things that I like, going back to Nico, that character, I like the fact that she is not going to be a damsel in distress for the most part. She does appear to have some type of powers, and it will play into things down the line. The only thing that I didn't love about the show is Lonnie and the way Lonnie was written. I know in the late 1980s, we saw a lot of gangs pressuring people into joining, but that's something that really hasn't existed in any part of America for at least 40 years. It's something that would never happen today. I think about Big Dom. Big Dom is a bald-headed man with a beard, and so that means he's the OG of the neighborhood. That means he's seen people try to escape the neighborhood and fail. And so to see Lonnie, and they called him Superstar for much of the season. He's a superstar football player with a way out of a bad neighborhood. There's no way that an older black man, leader of a group, would allow much less pressure on Lonnie type character into joining that group and ruining his potential future. What's even worse is that Lonnie is written, in my opinion, like a meathead, like a dumb character, because it appears as though all Lonnie needs in life is a team and a mission, and he will take to it no matter what it is. We see him in the beginning and he's with the football team and he's the leader of the team. And then you take him out of the football team and you put him in a gang. And by the end of the season, he's leading the gang. I imagine if you took him out of the gang and put him in the military, he would lead the squad and complete the mission and leave no man behind. And it's like, that's the type of meathead character that they're making. And again, I'm not talking bad about any people in any of those situations. It's just the idea that this guy doesn't value the things that he already has. And in a realistic situation, there's no way that he would take to being in a gang. Lonnie has such great advantages in life. He's at a special school. He's getting looks because of his athleticism. He also has some mental capacity because he helps with Peter with their initial project. Like, he actually adds things to the educational side, as well as he has a two-parent home. Most of the time, even when you look back to the 1980s, when people were getting like pressured into gangs, those were people who were looking for community because they didn't have it at home. They didn't have a role model. They didn't have a person or people in their lives that would like come around them and show them their value and encourage them to do the right thing. So they fell in with gangs. With Lonnie's case, he got two parents at home and they live in a relatively nice brownstone in New York, which aren't cheap. And so the idea that he would just fall right in, even though he pulled his brother out, kind of weird. But I get what they were doing, and I'm anxious to see the potential fights between Spider-Man and Tombstone, with Spider-Man knowing who Tombstone was, and the potential relationship drama with Peter liking Pearl, and possibly Tombstone figuring out that Peter is Spider-Man. All that stuff can be really, really dramatic and heartfelt and meaningful if they get future seasons. We already know that there's a season 2, but I'm hoping that this thing can go for at least 5 and we can get some of these early threads paid off before it gets shut down. Those are my thoughts on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I think it's a very good show. I enjoyed it. My kids like the opening. They like the way it's animated. I enjoyed the animation style, and I think it moved along quite briskly. I like the release schedule, more than 1 episode per week, and getting those 10 episodes out in a relatively short amount of time. I like it. I hope that they do multiple seasons of this moving forward. Let me know your thoughts about anything I said in the comments section. And that's all we have for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.